Okay, it's Wednesday, December 6, 2023. We're going to start the Town of Sangerville Select Board meeting. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, approval of the minutes, Select Board meeting 11/27/2023.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second. All in favor? Item 3, review of treasurer's warrants, payroll 110 and 114, accounts payable 111, 112, 113, and 116.
Make a motion to approve A and B is read.
Second.
All in favor? We're all 3 in favor. Open session, anybody want to speak yet? No? Moving on to old business, Town Hall Building Committee meeting, the 8th of January 2024 at 6 p.m.
We're just gonna start the whole process
Hit the ground running.
and start out with the think tank and steering committee stuff. And start with, thoughts and ideas and concepts and options, and then work through, just like we did with the new building and going forward. And then at the annual town meeting, we'll have this on the article as part of a vote, so that the citizens vote on what's gonna happen to the building.
Okay.
So,
Good.
that's that piece.
Anything
Question.
on that? Go ahead.
Will you record the meeting so that we can
Yes.
do the same type
Yep.
of thing?
I think
That would
that's
be great.
important.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
New town hall, the warrant has been written, staffed amongst everybody. I think we have a really good product. Last night, we had, the committee that spoke on the 27th, they were there last night, gave the final inputs, and we did change, not the wording, but formatting, so that in the article, it is just the question, it doesn't have the other stuff in it, but then we do have the informational page that I sent out to everyone, that speaks of the other stuff about the steering committee, the going for the future projections, and going for congressional money. I really feel like it's a gateway to get to what the town needs, and then opening up. So that informational page. So what's gonna happen is, the warrant's here,
Yep,
and
I read it through.
what will happen
I
is.
didn't look at it.
Okay.
just got
I didn't
it.
look at the, but that's all we took out.
We took out some of the wording
In the question
in the
itself.
question
It's just
itself,
the
and we
question.
moved it
Yeah,
into,
yeah,
so it's just the
Yeah,
question, so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
clear.
Yep,
And it makes sense. So
Yeah.
then we're gonna mail tomorrow, the question with the informational sheet. So we're gonna mail it out to everybody again, so
Oh,
everybody
you
gets,
just-
so
that's
they
the
get
question.
the
No, you
informational
have the question,
piece.
right?
And then they
That's
get
just
also
the
the question at the
tail
same time.
verbiage.
So when they show up, we'll have print-offs also, so that people can see it. and they can-
yeah, because it is important, that's what I was thinking as far as people reading it prior to, because there's a lot of, and it's hard to walk in and you're talking to people and then read it and really digest what it said. I did note, it's not a typo, but, and it's minor, there's a date. Did you see that? Oh.
I didn't, I'm just smiling because it's you.
I know.
If there's an error, Jody's gonna find it.
Well, only that my eye just sees these things.
I know you do.
Right here. So right here, the date. You can read it. It just says the date here of. So we haven't signed it yet, and it says what day we signed it, and we haven't signed it. So this should just be a line, not the 6th day of December, which is today. So that I
He's
believe.
anticipating you're gonna sign it.
Right.
Are we gonna sign it tonight?
Yes,
you are.
Yeah,
We have to sign it
we
tonight.
need a finished product
And
tonight.
it-
That's
yeah,
why-
tonight needs to be
Okay.
signed. That's
Then
why
I
we,
stand corrected.
We
No,
can
no.
alter this a little bit,
No,
but
no.
tonight is
If
the
you wanna
night.
modify, you can, but
Got it.
we
So
have to
are
sign something
signing
tonight.
it prior
I was
to.
like, I can run back.
But it's interesting, no, but it's interesting, cause I looked at what we've been, Mike and I have been carrying around for, the annual report from when the report on the building. And in the annual report, I read all the way through the warrants, and at the end, it's as a line, and we hadn't signed, it wasn't signed, but we signed it the night of.
Evidently, nobody, the copy that went into wasn't the final one.
Yeah, okay, all right,
Hey.
okay.
So I did it this way because we all wrote it, not just individual in a stovepipe, we all wrote it, and then the board had, you know, their input last night in the say, so I felt like it was, since everybody, you know, representatives of the community and officials had the say in all of it.
Do you have the cover page or whatever, that second, the informational page with you as well, or no?
I do.
Because one of the things it doesn't, I guess my brain just can't wrap around it, that's just the problem, I can't, you'll see.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
And then the question is on the back. That's
This is
how
what's gonna get mailed.
mailed. Yep.
Okay, so,
Which part?
I gotta find it, hang on, and it may be not here anymore. Okay, this doesn't make sense to me,
Which part? We can table that.
right here. Okay, so the new building impact, okay, create job opportunities in the town's overall development as a new, okay, this, just tell me if it's.
No, it's fine. No, go ahead.
I thought we
Contribute,
pulled it. We did.
We did.
We did.
okay,
we
yeah,
took it out.
yeah.
It
But-
didn't apply to us.
Right, but the sentence doesn't, we pulled impacts
Yes, we did.
out.
Yes, we did.
This sentence, I'm sorry, my brain doesn't. make
We also
sense.
took the numbers off.
Yes,
You just wanted like bullet points.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, we took we just, yeah, took, just so that they weren't, I mean, it doesn't matter, that's a little bit more. So, my question was, so it will create job opportunities during construction and contribute to the town's overall development as a new building that would open up commercial space on the main road for a business.
Yeah, the building you're coming out of.
Okay. Ding, ding.
How about if you said opened up a former commercial space on the main road?
Yeah, I just was like, where are we opening up commercial
Yeah, no, I mean, that's,
space?
no, I
Yeah,
do now.
that makes sense.
I didn't read it that way until as you were reading it out loud.
You
That's-
understood
That's
it
when
then.
I understood.
Yeah,
100%.
and I mean, I don't know how
We're
many
moving
people-
out, that's gonna be an open space for
commercial business.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I didn't understand it, that's all.
Well, so whatever we want on this informational piece to correct between tonight and tomorrow, we can do that, cause we haven't mass printed these yet.
Okay.
So whatever Diane has for,
Right, so something Mike and I we noodled this a bit yesterday before your meeting, just to try to give you guys a final as far as and I mean, the numbers, not that that's important, but we thought more of a
Yeah,
bullet,
I usually use bullets.
bullets. Again, that's just,
Tit for tat.
no, this is the time for.
It
us
looks
to-
cleaner.
yeah, and it's not in order of importance.
Yeah, I
or
said
anything
That's,
like that.
yeah, that's to me,
Yeah.
that's when people see numbers,
Yeah,
that's how,
Sure.
there's.
Number one reason.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go.
They're just numbered because there's that many of them, it's not
Right.
one or two or three. When you do with bullets, you don't have that.
Right.
yeah, sure.
It does change it a little bit.
So, am I the only one that just couldn't wrap my brain around that sentence?
Well, wait,
Alleviate oh, no, that's the wrong sentence, okay. Where is that sentence? I don't even see it now.
thin packs.
Okay. Commercial space on the main road would open up former commercial space.
Yeah.
Would,
A former commercial space.
Yeah,
or that development as a new building that would vacate
the current commercial space.
on the main road for a business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just question,
The necessity.
what, yeah, just how motivating a factor that is in this whole process.
I don't know what that piece is really, but I mean, I like the idea of the promoting the job and more about the last sentence, I think is more important than any of it.
New
that's in
building
that.
with
And
CVS.
it's almost
board.
redundant,
Right.
your benefits of a new town office really kind of cover.
It's all of it.
You wanna
Yeah.
take that right out?
I think Jody and I did.
We did in our sort of
We were
final work
kinda, yeah, just-
product that we were just saying
Because
it's,
you can imagine, a construction project, maybe you're building a new school, and so there'd be lots of employment that comes up. That really doesn't apply to this.
But you don't really know if you're gonna gain it, there's not, you may hire somebody that's already fully staffed, it's not like you're adding,
Correct. What I'm saying, that would be with a huge project,
Yeah.
you might make, but this is not.
it's not big enough to be there.
Yeah,
And
we'll
these
take-
bullet points were generated for us, remember, we just put
Yeah.
this into the AI, and so this would be typically.
right,
points.
right.
Maybe
Yeah.
you're gonna, you know,
So I'll just take impacts out.
yeah, I think.
Because we've already covered, impacts are already established within the other paragraphs.
Yeah, if it gets too long, then it's just
Yeah,
sort of
That's right.
Yeah, it sounds like you're tooting the same horn.
Yep.
Well, that's,
over. and-
most people typically read about the first sentence in every paragraph.
Yep.
And we're gonna get rid of the numbers, they're just gonna be bullets.
Bullets,
Yep.
bullets, bullets.
And then Diane's got some
Okay.
stuff that she'll
Well, there's
give me
some,
after.
it's syntax stuff more than anything,
That's
but I do
important.
have questions. Under the current limitations piece, it's in the last paragraph, sentence, sorry, it says they failed to meet code requirements for document storage, security, professional standards. What are the code, what codes are we talking about?
So MMA has record keeping statutes
Codes for town offices.
and how you're, actually it's legislature and how you're supposed to. It's not just MMA, it's the state
I
has.
look for them.
I found the legislature,
I found them in my books, I didn't bring them tonight.
I found it online
Look
somehow,
at,
but.
But it's,
go to main archives is where you're gonna find the rules on maintaining old records.
okay.
Personnel records, do they fall under a code or a statute? They must fall under a statute.
They don't fall under the same as the
Not on this.
archive, the
Right.
archive is the issue.
Oh, things like deeds, that's
Yeah.
Birth
Not
and
even-
death.
birth, marriage, okay.
Marriage, death,
All your audits have to be kept forever.
yeah.
Your town reports have to be kept forever. Birth, death, marriage, obviously. Any of your town meetings, any of your selectmen's meetings, all of that stuff has to be kept forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you have to make sure that
It
you
has to be in a fireproof,
fireproof humidity control environment.
This new ID, because Maine's ID
Oh, yeah.
is not up to, so in order to be meet federal standards, people are having to go get their original marriage certificates.
Yeah.
Wow, wow.
Which, that's amazing to me that you would have to do that.
So it's not just document storage, it's archival document storage.
that's really the key, is
And
the
I think
archive document.
That's a good, that.
Yeah.
Because
that's
if
more
it's just
specific.
having a locked cabinet or a locked filing cabinet, you got it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's the archival piece that's the missing piece, and I
Right.
think you've gotta clarify that.
That's great, I
And
like
the
that.
lock place for the motor vehicle stuff, that is again, that's now. You have to have something that these record stickers and things have to be locked.
But that could be a locked file cabinet.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
And we've got something that locks.
Well, that's why I really question if you ought to have, that's why I said, I don't know if I'll.
You
If you're
were
gonna
against
have,
code to begin with.
if you have code in there, you have to be ready to provide all of this, it is this
Like-
code, this is what it
If
says,
somebody
this
asks,
is what
"What
we're
code?"
doing, or this is why we're failing that
That's
code.
why I'm asking.
You know, are you better off to leave it something inadequate, or, you know, and then you can talk about that if somebody brings it up, well, why is it inadequate? Well, there is a code for archives, or bloody, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also, code requirements for document storage, but not necessarily, are there code requirements for professional standards? Are there code requirements for fiscal stability? What does that mean, is fiscal stability?
Well, it's not so much fiscal stability, well, yeah,
It's not
we
really-
have money down there for one.
Right, but that's not a code, that, I
That's
think,
So it's
that's
more
right.
of a secure, it's
So
fiscal
physical-
security.
Physical security.
that's why I would get rid, I think,
Take
And
get
there's
rid of
code.
no, there's
Take
no
code
code
out.
for strategic planning.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So just get rid of that last sentence.
Well, I would keep the sentence, but I would get rid, I mean, I would think
It
if,
could just be necessary requirements. Instead of code requirements.
Yeah,
Or
I would get rid of the fail and the code
Secure.
requirements, but it's just inadequate, I mean,
that's a good
Fail to
word, that's a
meet
good.
the needs.
Yeah.
For the following.
For
And then-
document storage, security,
Right.
professional standard.
I mean, just because you can get by in terms of the law or statute, doesn't mean it's optimal.
or
Right.
adequate.
That's true.
It could be barely adequate,
Correct.
right? Yeah, we're functioning, but not well.
Well, if
It's
I
reggae,
remember
yeah.
correctly,
Yeah.
what we were told is back to what you were saying as far as the registration and the stickers, and I think that conversation was, everything needed to stay up here, and we were just bringing them down the minimal amount for a few weeks at a time, because we didn't have room to adequately lock
Yeah,
everything the
right.
way we're supposed to. So,
So,
Code is.
but I think it is important to have that in there, so everybody does understand all of these things of what you're,
Yep,
I just don't know how you wanna word the beginning part of it.
well, they failed, well, instead of they failed to meet, because if they failed to meet, they'd be shut down, right?
Right,
So it's moreover, they're inadequate
That's,
for archival, document storage, security, and professional standards.
yep,
there you go.
All of it.
yep.
I agree with you.
Yep,
And then get rid of the fiscal stability and strategic planning.
sure, 'cause
Yeah,
we even
yeah,
make that
yeah,
comment a couple other times, so.
Yep, that's good.
Okay.
That reads better.
Less is almost always better.
Oh, yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah. Okay.
In the benefits of a new town office, the last sentence, the last line, it should be Foster, not Fosters.
Yep, we
We did
corrected
change it,
that.
yeah, we did change it.
Yep, and those corrections didn't get through. That's good, yes. Awesome.
And you are missing a verb for the last phrase, because it's streamlining administrative processes, enhancing
Okay.
accessibility, foster,
More welcoming environment.
and establishing a commitment to improving the town for the future, whatever, but there should be a verb in there.
Oh, there you go. So, establishing is good.
I like just how she said it,
Yeah, yeah, that's good. We've got our own AI right in the middle.
It's just my nitpicky side.
It's good.
teacher in you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
And can you say what the sufficient fund balance will be?
Approximately $500,000.
Okay, it's just important that you have that
Oh, we'll
ready.
have that.
But
noted, yeah.
you know, that money, that moves a little bit, but yeah, it's gonna be around $500,000.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to be able to state.
Answer.
And the other thing we
question.
might veer into is sufficient by whose definition?
Yeah.
The auditor has said to us on more than one occasion that we're nearly triple what a town of our size would normally have.
In reserves.
Correct.
Yep, yep.
So $500,000 in the eyes of an auditor would seem reasonable for a
Right.
town of our size.
Right,
That's
and
kind of the,
Okay,
33.
so I'm gonna jump in here,
Okay.
because I have a question. I've heard everyone say $1 million in reserves, blah, blah, blah. I found it in your town report where it says like $1,016,000 or something to that effect. I'm thinking that the money you're considering for this project is actually tied up in a CD at Main Highlands.
yeah, could be.
For $782,000
Yep, yep.
and something. Okay, so that is gonna come due in January.
We can take it anytime we want to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
that I'm understanding where you're.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
we just didn't let it sit idle. But
Yeah.
the only penalty on those instruments is some of the interest that you would have gotten.
Well, and you're gonna not have the project.
Well, in this
going
case, yeah, it's-
for-
it's actually
yeah, so
just
we'll
gonna-
just take it out
Yep.
at that point.
But I wouldn't hesitate to roll it back in, because,
Yeah, even if it's
You're not gonna
4
lose.
months or 6 months or whatever, it's not gonna hurt it.
but yeah, that's the
That's
majority
what
of the
that
money, yes, that
That's-
is.
I mean, I
You're
don't know
looking
what,
at the right bucket.
I don't know what any town has, but I know a few years back when I was on school board, so that's probably 10 years ago. And we were pushing hard about, at budgetary for them, and the school board actually rolled all of theirs. And there was many towns at that meeting that 4 or 5 of those towns together couldn't have come to a $500,000 fund balance.
Oh,
I mean, there's a
yeah,
lot
no,
of these smaller towns that are running on,
Fumes.
Forward money,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
So I mean,
No,
for us
I-
to be at $500,000 for our size, that's huge.
Well, that was consistent with what I remember hearing from these audits, was,
Yep.
you know, you're.
Well, and they usually recommend that you have 3 months worth of bills in reserve. So, you know, taking your school payment and your, depends on what month you're
Correct.
talking about.
Sure.
But yes, you've got quite a well there.
Can I nitpick some more?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, in that same cost breakdown, instead of saying in the second line, sufficient fund balance, saying it's a reserve balance, just so it's a clear piece.
Voting yes will not increase taxes and leaves the town with a sufficient.
Reserve balance, because that's what it is, right?
No, it's, Bill, you just, when you start talking about, and then we've got in this a million times, I mean, everything to do with your audit books, everything's always called fund balance.
Right.
Okay,
That's why it's.
okay.
That's
I know
a-
everything
That's a
else-
line item, that's the
Well,
line that
it's what
says
it's-
fund balance.
That's what, as far as,
Undesignated fund balance.
Correct.
Yeah, there you go.
that's the,
Why didn't you say that then?
yeah.
So I did.
I mean,
No, 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 but you're saying, say it in
yes,
here.
yes. Yes. Patrick, are you getting all this so that I don't have to give you my paper? Okay, never mind. Okay, undesignated fund balance. Okay, and then in the fourth line, at the end of the line, it should be once approved, comma,
Okay.
Sangerville will apply.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the last line, if Sangerville were to be granted this funding, comma.
Aha, as much as 85%, okay. Good.
And then in future vision, last bullet, you don't instill the ability, but you might enhance the ability for
Okay,
the town to establish a long-term vision.
I like that better,
Yep.
I agree with you.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the last line in there is not a sentence. It's a
just
phrase.
saying, just saying.
It's just a fragment.
Oh, yeah. That was
Yeah, I thought we took this out too.
We did.
You wanna take that out completely?
We took it out completely.
Okay, then we'll just scratch it.
The whole vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Cause
just,
Right?
it's
Again-
already written in there 3-4 times.
Yeah, it's already in there.
Yeah.
exactly, and
Yeah.
At that point, everybody's like,
We just
okay, I read
reiterated
it.
it, Yeah.
Is that right? That makes sense? We
Yeah,
did
yeah.
take it out.
took it out.
Yep, yep, yep.
See, it's getting,
Yeah,
Oh, that's,
Less is more.
a good little package.
then I'm gonna have to flip a page over.
Oh, that would be good,
Yes.
right?
And we're gonna make sure the margins are really set up nicely this time. Never mind, I won't say that again.
You mean the printer itself?
Yeah.
oh, the
That
print.
Printer error.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that was,
an
Unfortunate.
unfortunate skid.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, how is our last sentence been
Okay,
making out?
and then the last one, on the fourth line, it says, once approved, Sangerville will, once approved, comma, once this warrant is approved,
Yeah, once
Maybe it
it's-
should be, well,
Once the article-
once approved is optimistic, if
If
approved.
approved.
that
If
would
approved.
be better.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree with you.
If the article,
If approved,
If this warrant or article is
Article.
approved,
yeah,
right?
yep,
Yes.
yes.
And that's very clear. Is approved.
Yep, yep, yep.
Sangerville will apply
And I
for.
don't know who does this, but thank you for using were with if.
Oh.
Because so many people say, you know, if Sangerville
Oh, yeah.
was to be
Oh, yeah,
granted,
yeah, yeah.
and it is an if
It's
were. So thank you, whoever does that.
I have a question, and this, so in the current limitations, town office is capitalized, and then for the rest of the thing, it's not capitalized. So
Yeah.
either we capitalize it or we don't.
Yes,
So don't capitalize it in current limitations, and then the rest is correct, because nowhere else is it capitalized. Minor details.
it's consistency.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, if Sangerville were to be granted this funding, comma.
Okay, where is that?
This whole thing is gonna fit on that front page now, no problem.
You think
Oh, I
so?
think, yeah, and not only
Okay.
that,
Because we knocked out
Okay,
2 whole paragraphs.
Right, but you're 100% rewriting the sentence that's right above it.
yeah,
which one now? We took future vision out.
Cost
but-
breakdown.
yeah, if Sangerville were
It's
to be
word for
granted
word,
this
if
funding,
were to be granted, if
it
Sangerville
should be
were to
taken right out completely.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
take that,
Yeah, it's,
Last line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Yeah,
it's
'cause
written
it's right
in
there.
the impacts.
Yeah,
the cost breakdown.
Oh,
Yep.
cost breakdown.
Yeah, right there.
Got it, got it, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
well, the only reason, because it was in conclusion, it was a bundling of all of the
Yep.
bullet
Yeah.
points.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
That was the thought process.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep it then?
That's up to you guys, but that's how it,
Right,
that was
that's how
the
it
thought
ended up
behind it.
there. It's taking the salient points from each of the bullets.
Yep, yep. You could almost just read that and you'd be
Yeah.
up to speed, the conclusion.
Correct.
Okay.
so keeping it, or,
It's exactly the same sentence.
I mean, you're not gonna be, to me, at the end of the day, if you're writing a 3, 4, 5, 6 page thing, you need a conclusion.
yeah,
But if you're only writing a half
No,
a
that's
page
true, you're absolutely right.
item,
Yep.
you don't really need a conclusion, cause you didn't read enough to forget the first thing you read.
You would hope.
I would hope, but I mean, that's the reason why you do a conclusion.
Yep.
because-
that would be nice.
Yep, and particularly since we've axed several of the bullet points.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Yeah,
I don't
Right.
think you need a.
again, this is a format for any size project.
Right.
Right, okay, so
So
perhaps.
keep that last line?
No, I'd get
no,
rid of that
we're
whole
saying
paragraph.
the whole
The whole
conclusion goes
conclusion
away, and
goes
it's
away.
just read your bullet points and then read the question,
Yeah,
Right.
that's it,
right?
so,
Then it certainly does fit on one page.
yep,
I
Absolutely.
think that's good.
yep,
I do like, your support for this proposal in the town warrant will pave the way for a brighter, more effective future for our community. Because that's true. And maybe that could go up underneath,
future vision,
yeah, or even, the last one that we're keeping is public input and support. This could be, that line could be tagged onto that.
Definitely, I like that sentence.
Well, instead of putting it as part of that bullet point, have it stand alone.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
just leave that
And we
as
don't
the
have to
final.
say in conclusion, we just, it
Yeah.
is the conclusion.
Yep, yep.
so I'm keeping this.
But we could say in conclusion, because that really summarizes the whole thing.
Yep, no, that's, you could leave that for sure. So you're saying number 6, future vision, you X?
We did exit,
We-
yeah.
Okay,
That
making
went
sure.
away.
Yep.
Okay,
And then,
4Xed,
yep,
And then
4X,
we're gonna
6X.
in conclusion, approving this warrant also paves the way for potential federal, no.
No, no, what was it?
Just,
Your
just,
support for this proposal.
Right, right.
yep. Yeah,
You wanted
I like
that full
Oh,
first
so you
sentence,
see where
right?
that- Your support, you see
In
that?
conclusion, the
Yeah.
construction of the new stands for,
yeah, that's, yeah. it
I would
is-
leave that.
It is a
Okay,
pivotal
okay.
step.
I do, yes,
So, all of it, all the way
Everything
to
after
our community,
then.
period.
Everything after community, we're axing.
yes.
Yes, yes.
And then everything before that, we're gonna keep as the
Yep,
conclusion.
yep, that's how I would.
Yep, because it's, everything else is repeated.
what do you mean by effective future?
Efficient, safe. Those are levels.
I mean, are we looking for a positive growth? Are we looking for enrichment, what do we, I mean, effective future is kind of, I don't know.
Well, think about,
Yeah, no,
I'm just thinking about where we are right now.
I was just gonna say that, how
You know.
much more effective, hopefully, will we be than where we are right now?
You know?
as a town office?
Yes, yes.
And as a town, I mean,
You can't even have a private conversation with the town manager in our current situation.
correct.
I know,
That's not very effective.
We've tried.
it is. It is, if you want to play with a puppy, but,
Well, I don't know, I have to go to my pickup.
I mean, even personnel matters, there's no, it's, we're getting by, but it's not very effective.
so that it's effective
More
town
efficient?
office.
Instead of effective?
Well, it's not, if you're
It's not
talking about the future of
future.
the community,
Right.
it's not just the effectiveness of the town hall or the town office, it's for the growth, the positive direction of the community.
I agree.
But think
Yeah.
about everything we just said. You
Yeah.
can't go have a private conversation with
Right,
the
so
town
but
manager.
if you're talking about, community in this last sentence, rather than the town office, you're looking at an effective town office for
The community.
But that's
future growth of the community.
correct. So that's kind of what I meant, was say you had a project that you, for the community, you wanted to, whatever.
Well, you could
And you
say
wanted to
that.
have that one-on-one conversation. Right now, you can't do that.
Right, right. But you could say a
So-
brighter and more effective town office to ensure a better future for the community or whatever, I mean, or,
I don't see it at odds with itself, but that's,
Okay, yeah, just keep it that way. It's just me.
no, I actually, effective future,
For me, it's like, anything we try to do to make the community or the town better, really, it all starts in that office. So, if we're gonna stay where we are, it doesn't matter what project we wanna do, the community's very limited because of what we're working on. Whereas if we can make that better and actually be able to have meetings or have those conversations, it should affect and be better for everyone, not just the town office. Is my hope.
Well, and the town office is really the hub of your town.
right.
That's where everything starts and ends, is at your town office.
also, I think the return of a community room that is fully operational, that is separate and secure, so that we can go back to, people would have birthday parties in our community room. People would have wedding,
Baby showers.
bridal
Baby
showers.
showers,
and-
right.
I mean, that's certainly gonna make us more effective. We can't do that right now.
No, you have no space.
So that's not a direct town business, but that is going to be certainly enhanced as a result of this project.
Well, then maybe brighter and more, no, not enhanced, no. I do see the word effective is
Promising.
promising, that's what you said.
Yeah, get rid of effective.
A more promising future for our community. Or comprehensive, or, maybe
Positive.
future. Positive.
Positive.
Sold to the butcher.
Well, somebody can put it in the earth.
Okay, so you're saying then,
Put it in there.
No.
your support for this proposal in the town warrant will pave the way for a more effective town office and a positive direction for our community.
I like it.
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect, I like that. That's great. Did you get that, Patrick?
I'll give it to him.
Okay.
That was his
She's
word,
willing to
better
give it
remember.
away now.
She knows me all too well.
There's a lot that I don't bring home with me anymore.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
There you go. Good, that was perfect. So,
So we'll have this all done
But the
already.
only change to the question is we pulled the map and lot.
yes,
And my only concern is probably one of the most dramatic events in the history of, or at least my history with Sangerville, was when the thought was that the building might end up at the park.
Right,
Well, so
And so I just want to avoid that.
right, because that, we,
but in
Yeah.
public input and support, it
You're gonna rule
states
it
the
out?
last one that a committee will.
Yeah.
No, but you'll have a blank check. You can go to any land that is owned, it could be in the soccer field. That's my concern. If you guys say to me, you don't have to worry about that. But that's the only reason I wanted to narrow it down between the property that sits between McFeeters and Pleasant Street. Then nobody could say, they're gonna take our soccer field.
as long as, yeah.
That's it.
But we did, but in those meetings, we did say that people, that they would have a say where it
Oh,
could.
yeah, no, there's 20 acres up there.
Right.
Well,
So they could put it anywhere up there they want.
Right.
And it says in the public inputs, that's one thing that we made sure we
Yeah.
put back in
Yeah.
there last night,
Yeah.
was that a
And
committee
it's-
will.
You don't know what they're gonna decide on the committee, what they're gonna do with that building. I mean, if there's no hope or whatever for that building, I'm not saying to do it, but if that
It-
building goes away, you might wanna put it right here.
You never know.
You
So
never know.
let's
I don't-
That's not gonna happen in the next 12 months.
No, no.
But that's my only concern, is that someone says, they're gonna take the basketball court.
But that's a committee,
That's a committee decision.
committee.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a
not worried
committee.
about it.
But
Right.
there's so many people who will, you
I
can't
never
trust
heard,
them.
when we did that before, there was no, I never heard anybody said a word about taking away a soccer field.
No, they were saying.
It was all about because it wasn't in the center of town.
No,
Right.
the most boisterous one was that it was so disrespectful to veterans.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, I don't.
And I never would've seen that one coming.
No, me
neither.
neither. No, me
Not
neither.
even.
So I'm just saying,
To avoid that, but if there's a committee that,
Not her.
vets all of that, I mean, and also if we buttonhole ourselves to that
well, we're
mapping
buttonholing
law,
ourselves to 23 acres.
26. actually.
Oh, okay, there
I
you
just
go. It's
leave
not
it
much
the
of a
way it is.
buttonhole.
I would leave it the way it is.
Look, I'm just, if
I
that
agree.
happens,
Then you were
What do you
right.
guys
Then
owe me?
you- What do we owe you?
One
Just
of,
a
Pizza.
giant-
one of
Stutzman's
10
Pizza.
more pizzas.
that's for life. That's
We're
it.
getting close to looking.
I honestly, I can't imagine anybody in their right mind would take the soccer field. But
Right.
someone might stand up and threaten that you could. We've seen that movie.
We-
That's all.
We haven't seen that movie, but, okay, well, I think we're
You
gonna.
guys, if you
Yeah.
two wanna do it that way, go for it.
Yep. I'm not worried about it.
Okay, no.
I don't, it,
That was the only reason I wanted it.
I know
That was
that,
it.
I know.
it doesn't matter what lot you put it on, somebody's gonna stand up. You put it on that lot, somebody's gonna say, well, you're taking away the trees and the walking trails we were gonna put in. If you put it on the other lot, you're taking away the town garage. If you put it on, there's gonna be a conversation regardless if you pinpoint any lot.
And that's why it's in there that the committee will give the options and the town will vote on the location.
Just with regard to that, is that a different committee than what?
Yes.
Okay, so that's another, so you're sticking around for all these committees?
Well, evidently only for a year.
Well, no, this document, the way I'm reading it, is if they pass this, the steering committee, along with whoever the select board is at that time, will get to pick this location. Otherwise, you could go back and say, we wanna put it next to the
Yeah.
gazebo.
Yeah.
No. We wanna put it across the street from Northern Lights. No. I mean, you can't really run a town that way.
Yeah.
No, you gotta.
Right, but it's gotta be funneled
So as
down.
long as it's on town land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The steering committee and the select board are
We're gonna
going to
work
be
together.
authorized to build this building
That's how I
if it
would-
passes.
yeah.
Yes.
Correct, that's the only way you can do this.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That's how it's
I'm fine
written.
with that. That was the only reason I just wanted to narrow it down to 26 acres. But if you want, because in theory, the way this is worded, you could put it out off from Bean Hill. It's town land. I don't think anybody would do that, but in theory you could. Okay?
I think with the established group that'll be coming in to help.
You've already proven to me that you can make this work as far as these committees go. Fantastic. I'm more worried about the rabble-rouser, the person that stands up at the meeting and tries to just sow doubt.
So
That's all.
I will just record all of them and
Yeah, no, I'm talking at the town meeting,
At
where
the
this
town
is up for a
meeting, where
vote.
This vote,
Oh, yeah,
the special.
Yeah,
We just
because
need to-
they weren't specific enough, that's all. That was the only motivation for putting the map on it, that's it.
Yeah, now,
I think just saying that it's going to be a citizen committee that will be involved in the decision-making, it will satisfy most of those people who would say, yeah, but they were looking for some kind of guarantee that there would be citizen input in the decision-making about location. And I think as long as that's part of what this paper is saying, they should be satisfied with that.
And I, in terms of style and, you know, where the walls and all that, I think, as far as I'm concerned, that can all be done. I mean, you're gonna know more about this than certainly I'm gonna know. So, in Michelle's history, you got, put together a team. I
Right.
care less what color the drapes are.
yeah,
Right,
no,
right, right.
yeah, no, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that could be fun. The
Right,
right
right.
group of people have a blast with it.
Right.
yeah,
But it's
and they have ownership in that.
Sure.
Yeah.
That building as they do, but it's not just something they drive by that's like, oh, I just go register there, it's something of, hey, you know, I helped.
But Michelle and Sam know what it's like to try to get work done.
Right.
Their input's gonna be a lot more valuable than mine.
Oh, yeah, as far as layout
Yeah,
and
all of
all
that
of that
stuff,
stuff,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So
Can I just say that that at some point, either before the discussion of the warrant or after the vote for the warrant, that there's some emphasis on forming a committee for the town hall, so that people that come to the January 6th meeting, just, you know, we have another piece of business that needs
Yeah.
citizen input, and that's the town hall. And you need to come to the meeting on January 6th to be a part of the discussion, to be part of the research.
Yeah.
Well, that's my job.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so that'll be, that's
Public
all on me, that, you know, yeah.
Because
Public service,
it's stupid that, I mean, after the informational meeting, I got a couple of emails, and what they said is, so, there goes the town hall. And it's just like, you weren't listening.
Yeah.
You weren't.
And it's
listening.
recorded.
So what about at the meeting, have that, basically what you just said, ready, when it's motioned, so it's on the table for discussion, that ought to be the first comment right out there. That this committee is the second part of this, cause it's better to get it out there first.
Yeah.
So that you can have the correct discussion about the article, instead of fueling all of that conversation at the
Oh,
same
that's a good
time.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you start it right out, reminding,
Preempting it,
yes,
Yeah.
this,
We aren't forgetting about it.
Right.
This is another route we have to address,
Yeah.
and this is the.
get ahead of it.
get ahead of it before let it, and so it can't
Yep.
fester and.
Yep,
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
have
and I
to,
think the other thing, the point that you guys, we got to this while considering that. Those committees came to the conclusion, this is the next course of action.
Yeah, and we need a
Now, we
committee
still
for
have
that building.
that thing to address,
Yeah.
no doubt about it,
Yeah.
but, so,
Well, there were obviously two paths. Deal with this path, because there are deadlines involved,
Right.
and then deal with this path.
Yep.
It's not that one was decided to be more important than the other, it's
No,
just
no,
that
it's just
this
this
one has
needs- well-
deadlines involved, this one does not.
right.
Yeah.
This one needs immediate addressing, this one does not. Well, ish,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
so,
So, yeah, we'll make sure that we go through an agenda mind check before the starts, cause Michelle's gonna open the meeting up anyhow, so, you know, she or I can say, you know, hey, you know, make that a bullet point, first thing that,
Yeah,
on the
it's nice.
6th of January, we're starting.
right.
We have not forgotten about this project in this building, so it is a priority. So anybody after the vote wants to sign up for this committee, please put your name in.
I also
stuff.
would be ready to start your steering committee for your location.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
The meeting.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
that'll be
Yep.
in
Another
the same,
sign up or.
And it's fine, I think if there's some crossover, that's fine.
yeah, yeah.
So there's a couple things we could do there, like we could have, clipboard with the sign-up list
Yep,
as the residents come through the door.
sure.
We could do that. I wonder if you want to address that question prior to the vote. Do you want to do that after the vote?
Yep,
That would be.
that one after the vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the importance of amplifying the old town hall before is important, so that everybody knows we have not, that is still a priority of my job.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that everybody understands that, so the negativity or, we have to go through that
That
type of feedback.
conversation.
Instead of dealing with what we're there for.
Sure.
Right,
We need to talk.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
And, I just am asking, is it boilerplate procedure when, the moderator starts the meeting that there is, some kind of a vote as to whether or not non-residents can speak?
Statute,
Okay,
statute.
okay.
I am going to talk to Patrick today about how we're gonna set this up. Because you did have non-residents arrive at your public hearing. We're gonna have a voting list and people are gonna be checked in as they come through the door. If you're not on my list and you're not a resident of the town, you're gonna be segregated over there.
Really?
That's a good idea.
Yes, you will be. I don't know everyone in town yet, and I wanna make sure that
They're
they're
not
not
voting.
putting ballots in my ballot box.
Okay.
Well, in the past, when we
We get-
registered, we got a colored piece of paper.
You only could get the
Well,
paper.
only those people
Only
who
the
have
residents would have
papers
that.
can have them. I'm segregating people.
But this is
But the only thing is you
town
may not
meeting.
wanna vote and give it to the guy that's a non-resident that could.
Right. On top of that, this is your town meeting. They don't have a right to speak without your permission.
So
So
that's what the,
Right.
There has to be a vote,
yes.
Right.
yeah, under statute, which is, that's,
Right, you
it's
can't
one
really
question,
sit there
so it's,
Relog everybody before the vote.
Right. So they will have seats off to the side. They'll be able to hear everything, but then the residents will be able to see, okay, we have
Yeah.
6 people that are non-residents.
I've had enough rhetoric with residents.
Non-residents.
Right.
And amplified by non-residents that have convoluted the process and made it even more difficult for us to get through a meeting.
Yes, yes.
That added no value.
I had to do this one other time in Guilford when Pride Manufacturing was going out of business and being bought with a grant by Maine Wood Turnings. And there was enough opposition from all the other towns,
Ah.
residents and workers who worked in the building, that I needed to segregate.
What
So
about
you
if you
don't-
did like a bingo blotter?
I do what?
A bingo blotter,
What's that?
stamped in hand.
Oh, stamp in your hand. Yeah, but still, I do, I mean, the segregation thing, I don't know, whatever. But I do like the fact that if somebody is, we
yeah,
say
at
they
least you
can,
know that,
that when they're sitting and they say something, okay, they can say it, but
well,
it's
actually,
not.
Paul's, unless it's voted, Paul's not gonna.
Address-
they're
let
not
them-
gonna get to speak, which is fine, it's just, we've got one question, and it doesn't
Right,
have anything
right.
to do with people that are not residents here.
That's right. They,
I understand what you're saying, but at the same token, you have a lot of non-residents that pay a pretty good tax bill just like everybody else. So I know they can't vote, but I think it may be important to hear them,
oh, so you're saying
Well, you
like,
won't unless they vote to.
100%.
Correct.
And this is where,
But that's what I'm saying as far as the bingo blotter, so
what
as
would
you're
that
going,
do?
as you're going through, like Diane was saying, you had the colored piece of paper, you put the dot right on your hand, it don't wash off.
Right?
So when you go up to vote, when you do your ballot, you show Michelle, okay, I'm a registered voter.
Are we doing a
Secret ballot?
secret ballot, or is it, I mean?
Oh,
a
I'd
lot-
say.
I would say it's gonna
It's gonna
happen.
be secret
a
ballot,
motion
yeah.
has to be put on the
Yeah, it
floor
has to
have
be.
that
I would say
happen.
the opposite, but that's okay.
No, well,
Yeah, if, this is an unprecedented opportunity for this town.
yeah.
If you don't wanna do it, I think you should be willing to say you don't wanna do it. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that something that is a motion at the moment?
Yeah,
Yep, it
yeah,
is.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
somebody
unless
from the
somebody
floor would
makes a
have to
motion
make
to
that
do that,
motion.
Yeah, and somebody will.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll see.
I mean,
Yeah.
they typically do.
We'll be ready for that one.
Well,
I mean,
It is what it
there
is.
are certain votes that have to be done that way.
Yeah,
This
I-
wouldn't be
Right.
one of them.
no.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing that should be made clear with both of your committees, or steering committees, is, just because you sign up, you're not automatically on it. Okay? That's a process that involves you, the select board, and maybe some of your leaders, but just because you want to be on it, doesn't mean you're automatically on it.
Yeah, 'cause you can't have
You
a
can't
cast
have
of.
30,
Right.
Yeah,
that's-
yeah, just numbers alone, you can't, but just because, we have people that have been involved in committees that won't be.
Well, lessons learned is the
Correct.
value added to,
Yep. Yep.
you know.
Right, you need to have people on there who wanna be a positive, and they want a
Constructive.
positive outcome and help.
Even if, I will say that this committee that came to this point had many different views, all at the same time. And we were able to have very good, positive, I don't know if we had a bad meeting.
I don't think so.
And we walked through the whole process. It's the value added in rhetoric that does not. I need people that are gonna give meat and potatoes
Right.
to the whole situation, even if I don't agree with it, or if somebody else doesn't agree with it, I need subsistence to it, not just,
Well, that way you keep it moving.
Right,
And
right.
I listened to, and that's exactly what you guys were
Right.
able to do. I attended some, I didn't attend them all, but not everybody agreed. In fact, some of those meetings, the transition from beginning to end was incredible.
yeah.
But everybody was getting to, but the meaningless rhetoric, it just bogs the whole thing down.
Right, it turns
But
it
you were
into a
good at it.
2-hour
I mean,
meeting
you-
that should have been a
You did a great
1 hour.
job, so.
Evidently,
And I think it appeared that everybody felt
I
heard.
guess I wear my emotions on my face.
So Mike, are you saying if you sign up to be on the committee,
You're not guaranteed to be on the committee. And numbers alone could dictate that.
well, we had over 20 people.
Right, but if we had
Just start.
120, we're not going to, but I mean, that's an exact, you wouldn't
Right.
want 120,
Right, but who makes the decision who's on the committee and who's
the
not?
select board.
And that's where I'm cautioning you, because as soon as,
It's no different than the
Or-
committee you was just on.
He's right.
the board starts selecting who's gonna be on the committee, people can say, well, okay,
Well,
now,
that's state statute,
The committee
Committees
is selected
serve
for years.
for the board, that's state statute.
okay, but how did we move forward with 20-some people?
Which I suspect it would be very similar experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have?
We didn't do anything.
It was self-selection of not showing up anymore.
That's
how
what
we got-
happened.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what happened, but
Had nothing
I'm
to do with
just-
us.
The attrition was self-inflicted.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm wondering why that's, unless, I mean. if
No, but for
miracles
example,
occur and 120 people
We
decide to sign
we had
up.
a committee, and I won't even name what they did, what their task was, but an individual in that committee, started swearing at people,
Oh, yeah.
okay? That person is not gonna be on, that person was removed from that committee and won't be on future committees, okay? So I can see a scenario where if someone has behaved in a way that's unprofessional or unethical, that
Unproductive.
we just won't include them. And the list would be very, very short.
Right.
But that's our responsibility.
Okay.
The list might come out and it may not be a comment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's who,
We
Like
maybe
this
have-
past one, there was no, I mean,
nothing.
It was a wonderful cross-section,
wow, it was great. So if we keep.
and the ground rule of being civil and productive, I think, made a difference
Yeah.
in the whole piece.
The only other thing going forward, I'd make people raise their hand and to have more, because
Yeah.
people talk over, there are certain people that just talk over.
Yeah.
So raising your hands and
Yeah, structure.
following, more.
Well, if you have
more-
ground rules right at the
Yeah,
very
yes.
beginning,
Yes.
establish the ground rules.
Yep.
And then
And stick
from
with
there, if somebody, you can have someone who is just a taskmaster,
Yeah.
that's their whole job, to say, I'm sorry, just wait.
Yep,
Yeah.
call on,
Yeah, as opposed, you
Yep.
have a timekeeper, you have somebody who facilitates, and you have someone who enforces the ground rules.
Yep.
Yeah.
perfect,
That's
I
their
love
whole
it.
job, is just to enforce the ground rules.
Yep,
Lessons learned.
yes, no,
Well,
It's just gonna refine the process.
yeah, well, it's gonna make the meeting
So,
you know, not 2 hours long.
Right.
That's,
Yeah. It's,
That
and
would be
more
a short one.
productive.
Okay, so I think we're good on this.
Yeah.
you good? I'll
Yes.
rewrite this, we'll get it out tomorrow, the warrant
You
signed.
need us to sign this before you can post it? So we can't
Do we
sign
have
it?
Your warrant, yeah,
The
your
warrant's
warrant,
ready to
Can't,
sign.
not
the
the
warrant
information.
yourself has to be,
That's all you
but
do.
not
We
that
have,
letter.
Okay.
Okay.
Not the letter is just,
That's
that's
the
just our, good faith to
Sure.
bullet
Disseminated
points
to everybody.
that we're still a committee that is still steering this in support and
so
conjunction
this
with the
copy right here,
municipal officers.
that's what we signed.
And people.
And we made no
No.
changes to this.
Oh,
No,
oh,
we
that's
didn't make
right.
any changes, that's the article.
Oh, that's the article, we
That's
made
the
no
article.
changes, okay,
Yep.
so that's what we're
will
gonna
be
sign.
posted.
And like Diane said, with the last letter we sent out, we got a lot of positive
Yes,
feedback about.
yes.
Hey, I really appreciate you informing us and keeping us in the loop and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think going forward, you know, even out of the other committees that we
Sure.
have this
What's
this
the,
trend.
yeah, what's the dollar amount that it costs us?
It
You know?
was $82.68 the last mailing.
Okay,
That's a good
May I-
value.
Good,
May I
yeah.
suggest that perhaps one of the line items in the budget be for
Sure.
disseminating communications to
Yeah.
citizens?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it is very
that's a budget
possible.
committee
Yeah.
thing.
And it's also, it doesn't always have to be this whole piece of paper. It
Right.
could be a
You can just
postcard.
vote, yeah, right, a
Yeah,
postcard,
postcard.
that's
Well, I'm
right.
pretty sure you already got a postage
Postage,
or whatever
we do have
line in
postage.
there.
We
Right in the
have a
budget.
We do have a.
Yeah, there's a postage one already.
Yeah, the same funds that you would use to communicate through the newspaper.
Right.
It's the same thing. This would be allowed. It's for that
It's all in
purpose.
that same bucket.
Yeah.
I'm going to
cheaper.
excuse myself, I have another meeting.
Yeah, you
Thank you.
You wouldn't
Thank
put
you,
that out
Diane.
there for 80 something bucks.
No, and you wouldn't have gotten the circulation either.
Can we take a break for a second, please?
Yes,
maybe?
absolutely. Jody's made a motion that we take a break.
Second.
Second, we are breaking at 4:57.
Do it, yeah.
All right, it's 5:03. I make a motion, we come back into session.
Second.
We're back in. Where are we at now?
New business, item 6 Alpha. This weekend is gonna be tree lighting at the Veterans Park, on 9 December at 4 PM. I will not be able to be there, but I do know fire department's gonna be a part of it. It's the Parks and Rec have already decorated it. Jason Higgins and his son went out and decorated it. It was donated by, Butch, so he gave us the tree to put out there. So it's just one more step in going in the direction of community again, so I just want to bullet point that one.
I saw a little feedback on Facebook and there was all positive kind of excitement about it. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Do we write a thank you note to Butch?
Yes.
Thank you.
And to Jason.
Yes,
and the
yes.
Parks and Rec,
Good, good.
and acknowledge them for their work.
Good.
Next is tree growth penalty tax release, needs to be approved.
Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, so I sign right here? So it's being released. Do you have to make a, motion? No.
We never have on this one.
Oh.
And then next is.
Does Helen calculate this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Abatement of, taxes, due to veteran exemptions, the owner did not know, that they did that.
Where do we sign? Oh, no?
No,
I think that's just.
that's just an update, I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
They have to vote and then Hamlin
that's
will
okay.
do.
Yep, it's just on
Okay.
record that we
Okay.
acknowledge that.
Okay.
piece. And then tax foreclosure update, Michelle, do you wanna give that update? really
Sure.
quick?
I've been talking to Tenny Ann from the sewer district. The last time we met, we had talked about Edward Gould, which is on Honeywell Avenue, and that it became tax acquired by us. We kind of voted to let the sanitary
Yeah,
district
yeah.
take care of it. Their lawyer said no, because municipalities supersede them.
Okay.
So their lawyer suggested that we get in touch with a neighbor. And actually, the neighbor contacted Teddy Ann and said, you know, you tell me a price and I'll write you a check. So she's gonna run her costs, I'm gonna get my costs, we're gonna work together this coming week.
Can't be that.
And then they'll take care of it.
Good.
So we'll
Yeah.
get a deed, we'll add in the charges for a new deed to be filed and the liens to be discharged.
And then we get our lawyer to do the deed?
Well, I'm kinda, this is like, we're going to, and I know we're doing this because of this new ruling and things like that, but in the past, when we've had a tax acquired property, we put them out for bid. We don't go to a neighboring property owner.
Yeah, because, did we approach this neighbor?
No,
No.
the neighbor actually approached the sanitary district.
Correct. I would think if it's tax acquired, we should put it out to bid.
Well, because in the old days, you would have definitely put it up for bid because you
Right.
want to maximize your return, right?
Because
Because
you're
we
not
keep
gonna
all the
make
money.
anything, right.
The potential liability here is you haven't maximized the return for the actual owner.
Correct.
You've given that short shrift. I just don't know that if let's say the real market value is twice what the neighbor pays, could we be sued for that? Because the real owner didn't get what they were supposed to get.
Well, we'll send an email to the lawyer.
I would,
I would think we just put it out to bid,
Yeah.
follow the same process.
well, I suspect that Dale's right, but the town's attorney should be able to, even MMA should be able to answer this.
Yeah.
But I will say, when I talked to them about this law change, they're kind of squishy, they're
Yeah,
not really sure what's going on
That's
yet.
that's why, remembering that, that's why I question if we should just, if we don't deviate from the way we've always done it.
And then all the money goes back to the estate,
Correct.
period.
Right, we cover our expense and this,
Yep.
I mean, the sanitary district's gonna
And
get
if the
their
neighbor's the
share.
high bidder, they get it.
Right, or the only bidder.
Actually,
They
no,
got
that is
it. Yeah.
that is, no, yeah, we would have to, once we sell it, we would have to pay the sanitary district.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna collect for them.
Correct.
Yep.
And then
The
whatever's
question
left.
though is why put it out to bid when you're not gonna make anything on this?
Because you might be liable.
You wanna make the most amount of money for, you want it to be totally,
If you don't have a competitive bid and the heirs or the estate of says,
Geez.
we got a fraction of what we should have gotten because the town
Right.
worked with the neighbor,
Correct.
we don't need that entanglement.
Right.
If we do an open bid, X is X, we did
the best we could do, this is what it is.
Yep.
Whatever,
Okay.
that's all I'm
Yep,
thinking.
no liability.
yeah, yeah.
But please, check with an attorney, check with another town, I think we're pretty much safe this way. I don't
Right.
see how we can get in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we're just,
We're doing what we've always done, except all the
Yep.
money beyond what is owed goes back to the estate and is should.
And how do
and
we
that's really
vote?
the other thing, is I don't wanna change what we've always done.
Right, true,
Just
that's a
because of
good
this
point.
rule change,
That's
you know what I
a-
mean,
that's
cause
a
that
good point.
alone is enough to almost get
Yeah.
you in trouble.
And we learned something, we are the lead in this, it's not the
Yeah.
sanitary or the
Right.
water. So and that makes sense.
And then how do we put it out to bid? How do we post
Just,
it?
there's a
advertise.
regulation that we vote, 3 papers, whatever,
Yep.
whatever that is.
We'll run it to ground for that, and
Yep.
we'll make sure it's out.
I guess I wasn't even thinking those avenues, well, cause I don't know your history on how you do those.
Well, this
But
whole
we did what
liability
you
is
said,
brand new,
so-
this is brand new.
Right.
That's,
that's
and nobody knows where, cause you reached out to MMA about it, and they just like, man, we don't know.
I
Yeah.
asked them about, because this has been going on for 200 years, where, based on this Supreme Court ruling, towns like ours have been making a profit that they shouldn't have been making. And I said, do you anticipate a class action lawsuit? Because if you're an attorney, you start, okay,
Yeah, all of
how
these
many
people
thousands of
that
families were affected by this, right?
short-shifted, right.
And evidently, the legislature is trying to make a proactive law that would basically make us
Sunset all
immune from everything prior to, and
Yeah.
I'm like, sounds like that could go back to the Supreme Court too. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could probably.
Anyway,
So grandfather all of that.
yeah,
Grandfather
well, all that
You're-
illegal
yeah.
stuff you did, it doesn't
You
count.
only need
All
to
that
do it
money
right
went-
going forward, you don't need to
Yeah.
worry about what we did wrong.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if there ever was a lawsuit, do you think the state would pony up the funding? He said, I doubt that very much.
We all want
It's gonna be the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for the explanation.
it's weird, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And again, I mean, going to bid, you know, it's not like you're putting it through a realtor. You're.
No, no.
it's-
So
Right.
you're
we're just
following
doing the
rules.
best that we can and,
And people submit it at a certain date, we open the envelopes and whoever's the highest bidder gets
Yep.
it, and then it's sold and it's done.
yep.
Okay,
And we parse out the money.
Any extra goes back to the state.
Right.
How long did we usually, I don't even remember, did we post to put it out for like 30 days?
I think there's action criteria.
Was there a
that's supposed to
criteria?
meet,
Okay.
Yeah.
I can remember.
So then next we have, by exception to the agenda, because Michelle had written it up before, a certificate of recommitment for me as a tax collector for the municipality.
Okay.
If we're good with that, item 7, we have now a full-time hired town clerk.
Yay.
I interviewed 3. 2 of them were extremely strong. Obviously, one was the strongest, so we have offered Michelle the job. But I did talk to the other 2 that I interviewed and told them if there's ever a position that comes open in the future, I want to be able to contact them, and they were really receptive about it. They were really good.
Good.
Yeah. So
That's
that's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations, yes.
No, thank you. And then Utilities District, Michelle called yesterday over there to talk to them about what we need for the board, and so by the 20th, by the next select board meeting, we will have the nominations for us to appoint, the two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're still working on getting the legalities together and getting their board together, and so we kind of, as us as a team, thought that we needed to call them, because we hadn't
Have
really
any of
gotten
our-
anything from them.
Well, I mean, they were here, so we need to do it, but has any of our previous board members actually expressed an interest to being on the new board?
We haven't heard anything from anybody. Now, that's why we have started
Because-
chirping, and then that's why we started with calling to find out exactly what we needed yesterday. And then going forward, so by the 20th, you'll have
Right.
the names.
But what I'm saying is, all of our current, or everybody that was on the water and the sewer district,
Yeah.
they all knew how this process was gonna work.
Right. And then
So I was in hopes that
somebody would come on
between
board.
those 2 boards, we would have had 2 people that would have reached out to the office and said,
I
I do
wanna
have
be on
interest to be
Yeah.
on the new one.
So I know the individual water and sewer boards are still having their own individual stovepipe meetings, so no, we haven't heard anything, but that's why we're starting to get onto it, so we can have this done and over with, so when they do tell us, oh, we need your names and we need your appointments, then it's all done. And roads, Grant Road, is gonna start getting work so this weekend, next week's gonna start softening back up. And the problem is it's flooding because the ditches filled down by the field. So we're gonna start working on that so it stops flooding.
Did we ditch that this year?
No, no, he graded it, but he went down through there yesterday and came in and said, yeah, he's gonna, that'll be his next ditching, is because it's actually flooding. And then it's causing ice, so he's gonna get onto it for us.
About to get quite a lot of rain here.
Yeah, yeah.
5 days.
So tomorrow is his day that he's gonna start, so,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay. Selectmen's concerns,
None?
well clear? What's the next meeting?
20th.
20th.
Do we want to call it,
Well, the 16th and then the 20th.
yes, no?
I'm good.
Okay. Got it. I make a motion to adjourn.
So we're not gonna have another get-together before, I don't think.
The vote.
Before the vote, exactly. All right.
We-
There's nothing else we need to sign for you, we're good?
Yeah.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Good, second.
We are adjourned, it is 5:16.